Imagine walking into a room where nothing seems out of the ordinary. People are talking, someone laughs, music plays softly in the background. Yet almost instantly, you sense something feels different. One person's smile seems forced. Someone else sounds slightly quieter than usual. The lights feel just a little too bright. The room feels louder than everyone else seems to notice. If you've ever experienced moments like these, you've probably heard the same phrase many highly sensitive people hear throughout their lives. You're just too sensitive. But what if sensitivity isn't a flaw? What if it's a different way of experiencing the world? For generations, sensitivity has been misunderstood. Our culture often celebrates people who appear tough, unaffected, and constantly busy. Those who need quiet time, feel emotions deeply, or become overwhelmed by crowded environments are sometimes told to stop overreacting. But psychology offers a different perspective. Researchers have identified a personality trait known as sensory processing sensitivity. People with this trait tend to process information more deeply and notice subtle details that others may overlook. It's estimated that around 15 to 20% of people naturally have this characteristic. Being highly sensitive isn't a disorder, it isn't a weakness. It's simply a different way that some brains process the world. And once you understand that, many experiences that once felt confusing begin to make perfect sense. Imagine two people standing on the same beach. They both hear the waves, they both feel the breeze, they both watch the sunset, but they don't experience the same moment. One person enjoys the view before moving on. The other notices the changing colors in the sky, the sound of distant birds, the rhythm of the waves, and the peaceful feeling that settles in as the sun disappears below the horizon. The difference isn't necessarily that one person has better senses, it's that one person spends more time processing what they notice. Psychologists believe that highly sensitive people often engage in deeper cognitive processing. Instead of quickly filtering out information, they naturally pause, reflect, and connect details together. That tendency influences almost everything. A meaningful conversation may stay with them for days. A kind gesture becomes unforgettable. A harsh comment may linger far longer than they'd like. Their minds aren't trying to make life more complicated. They're simply processing experiences more thoroughly. Now imagine carrying around a microphone that's slightly more sensitive than everyone else's. It doesn't only amplify beautiful music, it also amplifies background noise. For highly sensitive people, everyday environments can become mentally demanding for a similar reason. A crowded restaurant isn't just a place to eat, it's dozens of conversations happening at once. Bright lights, clattering dishes, music playing overhead, people walking past the table every few seconds. While many brains quickly tune out most of that information, a highly sensitive brain may continue processing it. The result isn't weakness, it's mental fatigue. This is why many highly sensitive people need quiet time after a busy day. Not because they dislike people, but because their minds have been working harder than anyone realized. Recovery becomes part of staying healthy, just as sleep helps the body recover after physical activity. Perhaps the biggest misconception about highly sensitive people is that they're emotionally fragile. But those aren't the same thing. Fragility suggests someone breaks easily. Sensitivity simply means someone notices and processes experiences more deeply. Think about a close friend who quietly realizes you're upset before you've said a word. Or the coworker who notices tension building in a meeting long before anyone else does. Those abilities aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of awareness. Many highly sensitive people become excellent listeners because they're paying attention to subtle changes in tone, facial expressions, and body language. That awareness often makes them compassionate friends, thoughtful leaders, creative artists, and careful problem solvers. The same mind that notices stress, also notices beauty. The same heart that feels disappointment deeply often feels gratitude just as deeply. Sensitivity isn't simply about experiencing more difficult emotions. It's about experiencing life more fully. But if sensitivity has so many strengths, why do so many highly sensitive people spend years believing something is wrong with them? The answer has less to do with their minds, and much more to do with the world they've been trying to fit into. The world we live in today asks our brains to process more information than ever before. Notifications, traffic, crowded stores, open offices, social media, breaking news, endless conversations. For most people, much of that background information fades into the distance. But for a highly sensitive person, the brain may continue evaluating far more of what's happening. It's a little like having dozens of browser tabs open at the same time. Nothing is necessarily wrong with the computer. It's simply working harder. That extra processing can lead to mental fatigue, especially after long periods of stimulation. This is why many highly sensitive people crave quiet after a busy day. Not because they're antisocial, not because they dislike people, but because their nervous system needs time to reset. And perhaps that's one of the biggest lessons about sensitivity. Recovery isn't avoidance, it's maintenance. Here's something fascinating. The same nervous system that notices stress also notices beauty. Highly sensitive people often describe being deeply moved by music, art, nature, or acts of kindness. A simple conversation can become unforgettable. A thoughtful gesture can stay with them for years. Psychologists believe this deeper processing doesn't only apply to difficult experiences, it also applies to positive ones. This may help explain why many highly sensitive people are drawn toward creative work, meaningful relationships, caregiving, education, writing, design, or other fields that benefit from empathy and careful observation. They're not simply reacting more, they're connecting more. And when those qualities are supported by healthy boundaries, they often become extraordinary strengths. Many highly sensitive people spend years trying to become someone they're not. They force themselves to stay in overwhelming environments. They apologize for needing quiet. They feel guilty for becoming emotionally drained. But what if the goal isn't becoming less sensitive? What if the goal is becoming more understanding? Imagine expecting someone to sprint every hour of every day without rest. Eventually, exhaustion would be inevitable. The brain works much the same way. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's what makes productivity possible. For highly sensitive people, healthy routines often include quiet moments, time in nature, meaningful conversations, creative hobbies, good sleep, and relationships where they don't feel pressured to hide who they are. These aren't luxuries, they're ways of supporting a nervous system that naturally processes the world in greater depth. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding about highly sensitive people is the belief that they experience too much. But maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe they simply experience more emotional nuance, more subtle details, more beauty, more meaning. Every personality trait comes with both strengths and challenges. Confidence can become arrogance. Caution can become fear. Sensitivity can become overwhelm. But it can also become empathy, creativity, wisdom, and remarkable insight into other people. The trait itself isn't something that needs fixing. Understanding it is. Because once you stop fighting the way your mind naturally works, you stop seeing sensitivity as a weakness. You begin recognizing it for what it can become, one of your greatest strengths. So the next time someone tells you you're too sensitive, consider another possibility. Perhaps you're simply noticing parts of the world that others overlook. The emotion hidden behind a smile. The beauty in ordinary moments. The quiet details that reveal something important before anyone else sees them. Sensitivity isn't about feeling life more dramatically, it's about experiencing it more deeply. And in a world that often moves too fast to notice what truly matters, that may be one of the greatest gifts a person can have. Thank you for watching WonderVerse. If you enjoy exploring psychology, curiosity, and the hidden patterns behind human behavior, subscribe and join us for another journey into the human mind. Until next time, stay curious. Welcome to WonderVerse.